In the world of spirituality, religion can often have a complicated relationship with the LGBTQ plus community. However, in recent years, churches and their congregations have become more inclusive. Fox 61's Stephen Reels takes a look at the relationship between the two and how Connecticut has now become a leader in welcoming everyone into their places of worship.
While churches, temples, and mosques often serve as a place of worship, togetherness, and community, many members of the LGBTQ+ community say it doesn't feel that way. And it's not for a lack of belief either. A majority of the queer community say that they believe in some form of spirituality, according to a Pew Research study. But when rigorous rules and politics find their way into a sermon, they say it can do more harm than good.
I don't know if you are feeling it quite like I am.
On any given Sunday,
every one of us is held in and worthy of love.
You can find the Reverend Dr. Adam Robersmith here.
Simply because we are. Because we exist.
As a pastor at the Universalist Church of West Hartford, Robersmith leads one of the more than 200 Connecticut churches that have opened its doors to the LGBTQ+ community. You're a queer pastor.
I am.
Some people say that doesn't make sense.
Sure. So I grew up in a community that would have said it didn't make sense.
Affirming churches like this one in West Hartford are generally more common in the northeast part of the country, from Granby to Norwalk and so many communities in between. But in deeper red states, those can be harder to come by. Despite having nearly twice the population, Tennessee has just over 130 LGBTQ+ friendly churches. And Oklahoma, which has close to the same amount of people as Connecticut, has less than half the amount of LGBTQ+ friendly churches.
I remember seeing the pastor at the front of the church doing the liturgy and being like, oh, I could do that. And then in the community that I was a part of, it became clear that that wasn't going to be an option. The barrier that comes up again and again is that those very traditional ways of thinking and being get a lot of play.
Vote no. Has every member voted?
They get a lot of media attention. They're in a lot of our stories. They're in a lot of our history.
A spiritual place that will accept you in all parts of you, including who you love, who you want to build your life with, is a core reason why sometimes people will leave the church or other more rigid spiritualities.
While some may choose to leave religion behind altogether, others, like Autumn Blackwood, have continued their spiritual journey, albeit in a different approach. Paganism, in its simplest terms, is someone who doesn't follow the Abrahamic faith of Christianity, Judaism, or Islam. A lot of times it gets lumped in with New Age witches and Wiccans, but largely it focuses around the worship of nature.
Largely, we tend not to care what someone's sexuality is. It doesn't seem to affect anyone's spiritual practice, especially in the pagan community. We're a lot more welcoming. If you remove the LGBT from the pagan community, there will be a very, very tiny community here in Connecticut. It's largely interwoven because of the amount of acceptability.
As far as we have come, there is still repair and mending to do. There are wonderful possibilities to imagine and make real.
And that acceptability has been a core tenet of Robersmith's congregation for years, proudly adorned across the church year-round as an invitation for people to enter, regardless of sexuality, belief, or religion. That if they're willing, this community will embrace them.
I think there are a lot of queer people who, for very good reasons, look at a building like this one and say, oh, I don't know that I can walk into that. You know, it reminds me of a place that told me I shouldn't exist. I don't think that you have to be in a congregation like mine in order to be a fully spiritual human being, right? Like, this isn't the only expression of religion that is valid. This is a spot where it goes far beyond queerness. There's something about that sense of being held by a community that is both like and dissimilar from yourself that's really wonderful, and I wish it happened in more places.
And in recent years, we've slowly started to see a shift when it does come to LGBTQ+ beliefs in certain religious groups. A Pew Research study showed that while 62% of evangelical Protestants said that they oppose same-sex marriage, the same study found that 70% of Catholics say they supported it. And that number was actually up from 57% in 2014. And that sentiment was something shared by
powerful religious leaders across the world, including the late Pope Francis, who famously said, "Who am I to judge?" and also said that pastors could now bless same-sex couples. And that's a sentiment now shared by current Pope Leo. In West Hartford, Stefan Rios, Fox 61.